Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Nightmares of Future Past. Joining me today are three of my heroes: Allstrike, Ren, and Shuro. Uh, a quick apology for not posting in the past couple of weeks. There's been some scheduling problems that prevented us from getting together to do this, and some slight conflict issues. But at the moment, it is resolved. So thank you for bearing with us. As a recap, what happened last time the heroes got to be heroes? Uh, the base was attacked by vampires. Uh, they were able to get back a party member they thought was lost, but they have them secured. And they are currently planning on how to defeat the vampire known as Count Dracula. They know that he is in one of the bigger hotels that's right adjacent to one of the parks where there are the giant ants. And the party has not fully decided exactly how they're going to go about getting rid of the vampire problem. Mainly because, well, ants are a problem from one venue, and flying is a good point, but you have to go where they want. The party's vehicle, the Hornet, is currently on top of the building because it was stolen. The party's boat that Captain Sewer utilizes to help people was sunk, so he has to get that boom. And Shuro's motorcycle was tossed into the sea off the pier. So thankfully, that the party has multiple flyers, high flyers. A bad guy update. The Half Bloods are officially going to be considered full tier minions, which means fighting is going to be easier for the heroes. Uh, there are several reasons why it's being done. I won't get to them at the moment, other than the fact that it's streamlining fighting and not making this season so hard. So now we will get into the thick of it with our heroes, who, like I said, have to come up with a plan on how they're going to get to Count Dracula and defeat him. So that way the vampire scourge that has decided to take a route into the city can be quelled before it gets any worse. Dun dun dun. So, heroes, what is it you wish to do? That I was about to say awkward silence.
Yeah. Now is Jinx in the vehicle still?
Jinx.
I think
Yes.
ostrich means lynx.
Lynx.
Link.
No,
Sorry.
Lynx. You guys
Yeah.
have secured inside her quarters. Just remember that she is
No. Okay.
considered a half blood at the moment.
Okay. I just wasn't sure.
Uh,
And
I definitely realized that I missed something.
oh no, what did you miss?
so
I think I must have missed a session between the last time I played and this time because I don't remember leaving the building.
you did miss that episode.
Okay.
Because the episode you technically were here for was when the party pretty much was about to get captured, and Daredevil, the party's shadow-based NPC ally, was able to swoop in and save everybody but Lynx.
Yeah, I remembered that part.
The party, after they were able to recover some at the base, when they were trying to plot some sort of plan to rescue Lynx, was when the assault on the base happened.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for the vampiric link between Count Dracula and Lynx, the party would be safe in the fact that thanks to Captain Sewers flushing the drain, it was pretty effective on making people think that, hey, they're obviously drowned or dead or not there, but because of the link between him and her, he knows that the base is still operational and the party's still utilizing it, and that she's currently there. So she is technically a liability at the moment, which presents its own problems in amongst itself. But she's secured in her room, so all the bad guys can really get from her is she's secured in her room.
Okay.
Current information about whether or not the party can win is, well, you guys don't know, other than the fact that you guys haven't been winning so far.
Yep. All right. So how many are we facing at this point, or do we know?
The closest count you guys can get, just from what was inside the hotel, not what attacked you guys at your own base. Just at the hotel, there was at least 4 vampires there, and almost well, it's under 40 now because you guys successfully did defeat several of them. There was at least 30 at that one hotel. At the current hotel where Count Dracula is, you're not sure how many vampires he has or how much half-bloods he has.
So how unlikely is it that I'd be able to get that information from Lynx?
Very unlikely. The only
So
information
there's no way I'd be able to break the link between her and Dracula either?
The only way to break it would be without the aid of really powerful mind-altering effects, such as from certain religious items, because you do have your own mental shenanigans.
That I do.
But you also have to remember yours is not necessarily about breaking bonds or altering memories, but being able to actually dig out memories.
Well, the other thing I can do is alter what she thinks she's seeing.
Yes, you can create illusions. Why did it change like that?
Do you have an issue on there?
No, it's correct. It says
You kind of
the character sheets were being a little No, Because, yeah, you can alter illusion, so you can, if she fails it, you can make it, appear, because it affects, all senses, resisted by will. So she would get a will saving throw. And as long as nothing happens to counter it, if she as long as she's able to maintain the failing, you can keep her under the effects of the illusion. I'm having contactivity problems. That's not good. My connection drop. I just saw my connection thing drop.
Yeah, I was gonna say you froze there for a second.
Yeah.
On my end, anyway.
Video dropped on my end.
That's not good. Connection not wanting to connect. Woe is my life. But you can attempt to illusion something. Certain things to note that whatever you decide to illusion her with, needs to have some sort of basis in reality. Otherwise, she can debunk it as, oh, that's obviously fake. You also have to remember that she is linked with one of history's most notoriously powerful supernatural creatures. Which means whatever illusions you feed her, he might be able to debunk in her own mind, forcing her to see through the illusion.
Yeah, that's what I was suspecting.
So unfortunately, you're not fighting a subpar level shenanigans man. You're fighting easily an opponent that's considered high tier. Which means if you guys manage to either A, take him down, or B, get him to leave, that's an accomplishment all in itself. Because that would definitely be good.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping to go through her to get to him.
Best case scenario,
The last thing I need is for him to use that link to get to me too.
yeah, it's like best case scenario. He pretty much just says, "Come and get me." Worst case is he utilizes the mental shenanigans to start influencing you.
Yeah, and we've not had a good track record of best cases, so.
Now, he's not invincible. So it's like you have that on the fact that he's not invincible. So you guys can still beat him. Just
Could I influence her to break the link herself? Or, I mean, I don't really know how the influence part works.
it. When it comes to how to exactly break the link, the members of the Justice League that would know how to even attempt that are you guys are currently waiting for feedback from, because the Captain Sewer set the information packet out and is waiting for a response to see if any sort of supernatural based hero is able to show up to give some sort of aid.
I see.
Because you guys don't have the power to effectively do that.
Okay, well, I mean, here's an idea.
I love ideas.
Allstrike, what's the range on your radar?
Good question. Well, I know it's quite quite a good distance in where we're at, but I don't know if I would have to look at see if I can pull up my own. If I can't. Well,
It
that's Jacob
takes
could tell me right offhand.
You're talking about his radar, correct?
Yes.
He can use it to make perception checks out to like 1,000 feet before he starts getting penalties to it. Because he can pretty much use it to know where bad guys are. So he can
Okay.
so it can. It's just, the farther it is, the harder it is for him to pick it up. The closer it is, the better.
Okay. Okay. So, what is the situation inside the base? I know she's contained in her room. Do we have enemies on site?
No.
Or are we just here?
The flushing of the base that Captain Sewer did got rid of all the bad guys in the base. So the base has been secured and deflooded. The party was able to get to the surface and verify that, hey, the boat sunk, the Hornet's gone, the bike got tossed off the pier. Captain Sewer had to use his aquatic summon, pretty much his water elemental, to pretty much help get the party to the surface, because he had to scuttle the elevator. Which means anything that wants to get into the base now has to swim. Unfortunately, it's also the only way to get out of the base is also to use the swimming entrance. Which, because he can have his water elemental do that, the party can safely... They're going to get wet, but safely get to the surface, where then the party can fly.
And you said that because of Lynx being in the base, Dracula knows that we're still safe or whatever. So outside of the fact that, you know, they can't get down here without crossing running water, we could essentially have God knows how many enemies on the water surface right now.
When the party went up there was no one.
Okay, well then here's an idea. Why don't we send Allstrike out within 1,000 feet?
He can go. It can go to 1,000 feet before he starts getting penalties.
Okay, get him within 1,000 feet of the hotel to get a read on the numbers.
That sounds good.
Why is that not loading correctly?
Yep.
I'm gonna have to do that and see about, because it was not loading that correctly.
And like I know that Allstrike has the ability to fly. So I mean, I'd say um get close watching. Drop down to the ground, get within 1,000 feet of the hotel, get a read on the number of enemies, and then just come back. Don't try to engage or anything. Just make your way back. And then that way we know what's going on over there.
Well, that sounds good. If I do a sort, loop around the base, that way we get a 360 degrees. Excuse me, I gotta take this.
Because he has a.
I mean, there's enough.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was saying we could also shoot out the windows. I don't know if that will do anything, but vampires during the day, it must be some.
Well, I thought during the day they came out no problem. The full vampires. Or am I misremembering that?
You guys fought the when you guys were at the hotel fighting.
I
The
think they were
vampire
half-
popped up. It was nighttime,
Woods, but
and I'm having connection problems.
Say that again for me.
I'm having connection problems. It just connected and then reconnected me. Well, disconnected and reconnected me. Why?
I should be back now.
You should.
Do you hear me okay now?
I can hear you. Can
I'm sorry about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
okay? My internet still.
Yeah.
It just went back in the green. Day is not my
Okay.
day, apparently. No, but like I said,
So,
you have a
What,
5.
what I should do?
Well, go ahead and finish what you're gonna say.
I was just gonna say I'm back.
Okay.
So what
I just wanted to comment on Shiro's idea.
I didn't hear it. I'm sorry. I had to answer a phone call.
No worries, then it'll be
shoot
good
out the
recap for you.
windows.
Yeah. The suggestion of shooting out the windows. My only concern is if they're using some sort of fabric covering like cloth, shooting out the windows wouldn't help. So we need to get an idea of what's covering the windows, and maybe we can ask Daredevil to assist on that because he'd be able to get close enough to the building to see. He wouldn't have to go inside, but we're almost definitely going to be seen. Daredevil's got the biggest advantage on stealth, so if he can just see the building, see the windows, and know if they're tinted windows versus cloth, like using curtains.
Well, one of the things I was thinking is it'd be a good idea for him to go look, like you said, and to me to make sure that while he's looking and all that, I keep a 360 check with the radar around. That way he doesn't get surprised by mistake or may catch something that he may not catch.
Yeah, and the last time we tried a stealth mission, I was fully visible, so I'd prefer not to do that again, which is the only reason why I'm suggesting that Shiro and I stay behind for now until we get recon back.
That's fine. That's what I was thinking. I was going to say, I mean, you can see if there's anything going on in the base with Captain, with the captain to see if he's able to get up any of the CTV cameras or anything like that the city has where we're at. See if he can pull those up, so that may help us with any type of surveillance as well.
Shiro, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah. Yeah, let's get Daredevil to scout the area. We might be able to pinpoint any weaknesses in their security or what.
So can we request that of Daredevil, Captain Sewer?
Captain Sewer will send him a message, and Daredevil will get back to us as soon as he can. In the meantime, do you guys start moving towards the area? Not necessarily to get close enough to alarm either the ants or the Count Dracula, but to at least get to a quasi-adjacent building for you guys to provide overwatch and sensory radar detection.
Yes, that's what I was thinking we should do.
Yeah.
Well, because you guys can have access to 2 flyers, high flyers.
I have a jetpack.
Yeah, well, as I said, high flyers.
Yeah.
You guys are able to, not too long of a time, get to a relatively close building that's close enough to see the building in question, while also with inside the perception radius of Allstrike. Because of Allstrike's bonus to perception, if you get approximately around 5,000 feet away, you'll have a +0 to perception checks to perceiving anything around the hotel. If you want to increase your perceptions, you have to start getting closer by degrees of 1,000 feet. So because just keeping 5,000 feet gives you a -5 penalty, which drops your +5 to a 0.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
May not
That way,
necessarily
we're talking about urban warfare.
may not necessarily be the biggest bonus, but because that technically can be used to counter like a bunch of stealth-based stuff, unless it specifically has countermeasures against radar, you're able to ping and do it. After a few minutes, over comms, Captain Zero does state that he got a message back from Daredevil. And there's, he's not going to say good news or bad news, there's just news. He was able to shade his way into the hotel, because God love being able to jump from shadow to shadow. While he was in there observing things, he was able to verify several key important facts. One, there is people being stored there for food. He has he has a rough count on the number of vampires, and from what he's gotten, Count Dracula has pretty much called forth all his vampires to the hotel. They're only residing in the upper half, and he wasn't able to get a direct, accurate account, but he believes that there's over 30 vampires and over 60 of the half-bloods, all mainly centered around keeping Count Dracula alive. Because it's daytime, the vampires are all asleep, and he believes there's going to be a problem with breaking the windows. For starters, the windows are the super duper bulletproof windows, because this is one of the hotels owned by a subsidiary of Wayne Industries. So it's built to last. So the windows aren't going to be easy to break. He doesn't believe it would overly help, because the vampires, where they're sleeping, are in interior rooms, meaning no outside.
So rooms
light
with no
can-
window.
Yeah. So it's like they're not even trying to black out the windows, because the vampires aren't in a position where the light can get to them. The building seems to have its own closed-off power grid. Gotta love it being a subsidiary of Wayne Enterprises. And he can verify
That power grid.
verify that if things don't go a certain way, if the party decides to fight, there's going to be an ant problem.
What problem?
In the ant problem in the main entry lobby that does have some space. There is a big dead ant. This which, as you guys are, you can look down and see part of the thing there where there's this nice opening to where the main entrance is. And he goes, I need to verify that the ant went down like a boss, because there is scorch marks from something that was lit on fire in its mandibles. There is several, what he believes to be dead half-bloods. So almost like they went to do something down there, and a ant busted through the wall to beat them up. The elevators and stairways and stuff that lead up have been blocked off to make it harder for the ants to get up, because there is more human-sized ants in the lower section of it, and because of how the building's designed, that it's one of those weird elevator ones. If the ants decide to go up, they're going to be able to most likely dislodge the elevator to then use the elevator to get the rest of the hotel. And the human-sized ants he saw there were pretty quick.
So what you're saying is we need to go through the roof.
Yeah, he's recommending the roof, because the ones he saw in there, besides being quick, he believes that they have the ability to shoot stingers. There's one of
So are you telling me that the vampires...
Go ahead.
Sorry. Are you telling me that the vampires are using the ants as vanguards?
Yep. Almost like they intentionally provoked conflict to make ants go in the area. And the ants that are currently stalking the lower half of the hotel are ranged based.
You know that power grid is most likely underground, right?
Yep, and he hasn't figured out how to get to it yet.
I mean, we have sewers. It can't be that hard.
He hasn't tried the sewer thing yet, because he wants to leave that to someone else. Uh, Mainly because he's not he's slowly developing a phobia of ants.
That makes sense.
Uh, so yeah, like I said, he hasn't figured out how to get to the power where the power thing is. So it's either because it's closed. Like I said, it's a closed off. So it's either in a subterranean level he hasn't figured out how to get to yet, or it's for the highly unlikely fact, because sometimes they are, it's on top of the building. And because it's daylight, it's hard for him to search on top of the building because too much light. A shadow, him as a shade kind of sticks out like a sore thumb if there's no shadows for him to hide in. He also suffers penalties.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the possibility of that being underground is, I always say, 95% likely
Yeah.
for the main power.
Uh, you guys can note
I'm
that
sorry, what?
he said there's the likelihood of the main power for the building being in a subfloor is possibly in the high 90s.
Oh, okay.
You guys can state, because of where you're at you can identify as like the Hornet is right there on top of that building, and that's why you know where the building is, because Captain Sewers put a tracker on the Hornet just in case for emergencies. And um that's how he knows where the building is. uh at this moment, All Strike, can you please roll me a d20 if you can, good sir?
Yes, I can. Hold on. I had to go back to my room for a while. I can't. No, don't start at me again like this you did on me Thursday. I was having a major fight with the software to let me even roll. I'm having. Hold on a second. For some reason, it's not allowing me in.
I am not rushing you, because I rather this be done correctly.
Yes, I know. Let me come. Let me go out for a second and come right back in. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Wait a minute. Maybe I can come up now. Hold on. I don't know why I've started doing this. Oh, there it is. And it's just there's no add or
No
subtracts
modifiers.
to it.
No modifiers, just the d20.
Okay.
Okay. As you guys are making your plans, from the park, your radar is picking up movement.
Okay.
Do you move to better observe the park?
Yes, I do.
Um, After a
And I
moment,
relay it to them as well.
does you do you have things to help you see? Um, Around a relatively large mound, which you can probably guess what the mound belongs to. You can see at the top of it a large ant, maybe around 20 feet in length, that has a big pair of wings. And the ant appears to be extremely well armored.
Okay.
And after a moment, you notice the wings pop up and it takes flight. Which then everyone can see this relatively big ant start to fly off. And it kind of looks like a flying tank.
Okay. It looks like an actual tank.
Well, not like a literal tank, but the way it's armored and looks, it looks like it's just uh, built to take damage.
Okay, I relayed that information to everybody else. While I'm looking around, I went to the park area, spotted the tank, the tank ant, and it's a flying vehicle, flying ant.
It's a flying ant. It's a winged ant.
Yeah. Oh, come on, dude. I'm sorry. I went to do something else to enter my next input, and it kicked me out. I'm still in. You just kicked me out of the
Now the question is, does the party want to wait until Daredevil is able to get to the main power grid, so that way he can disturb the power grid of the building? Or do you guys want to come up with a plan to get into the building and try your best to locate and then fight Count Dracula? Because at the moment, you guys do have the information that all the vampires, including the Count, are in their rooms asleep, and the only people that are up and about are about the 60 half-bloods.
Okay. Well, it would be better to catch them off guard if we can. And right now, the vampires aren't going to care about whether or not they're in darkness or not. But the half-bloods may be. So, and are we coming from the inside up, or is it
We haven't made it inside yet.
that's what I thought. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Are we approaching it through underground, or are we going above ground, down through the roof?
I think Daredevil suggested down through the roof.
Okay. All right, we can do that.
My concern with disturbing the power grid before we're in place is that while it will surprise the half-bloods, that's not stopping some of them, or even just one of them, from going and waking up a vampire or a few or all of them to notify them that the power grid's gone down, especially since it's an isolated power grid and we can't claim a rolling blackout.
That's true. You got a good point there.
So I think coming up with a plan to get in, where to go, and how to address it should be our priority.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if we try to isolate the individual half-bloods first, and hopefully we can eliminate them quietly. That way we can take on the vampires at a little bit easier. Do we, from our scans, do we see anything like there's any groups of any isolated groups of the half-bloods around?
The half-bloods, from what you guys got from Daredevil, are scattered throughout the upper half of the hotel. Um, you can't tell exactly how clustered they are, because he didn't necessarily say how clustered they are, and the radar isn't penetrating through the windows, so you can't necessarily get
Okay, that's
an
what.
actual pinpoint on where exactly each one of them is. The only guarantee way to possibly try to figure out who's all where would be to get Ren to the at least the top of the building so she can use her almighty third eye to attempt to see what mines she can pick up and what surface thoughts, so that way you guys can use her to actually pinpoint who's actually where, because she can do that to pinpoint where the half bloods are.
Okay, that sounds like good. That sounds good. Well, let's do that. Let's go ahead and go to the top of the roof and start working our way down. And Ren, you go ahead and start seeing if you can locate. We're not going to move down to any point without us being able. We're just going to do it and slowly going down, so that way we can isolate whoever's coming on the stairwell at the same time we are. And I
Yeah.
want to keep my radar going, and just in case I can pick up anything, like guys opening the doors or anything down the stairwell.
Yeah, we got to be mindful of the ants too. They're on the lower levels, because if they're actually being used as vanguard, coming up those stairs ain't going to be a problem for them.
No, it's not. But yeah, you're right. I mean,
I'd like to figure out a way to disarm them.
To what?
I'd like to figure out a way to I said disarm, but I essentially meant dismantle the use of the ants.
it's too bad we don't have. Oh,
Well, as long as the barricades keeping the ants at the lower levels stay barricaded, you don't have to worry about the ants. The only thing that's going to make the ants want to go up is if they perceive that there's some sort of threat above them, and that might make the ones that are in the lower half try to go up, which means limiting your fighting. Otherwise, you possibly would have lowered the ants, and then the ants are going to start moving up. But the only reason that will be a benefit is it will be a pincher movement. You guys are up top, moving down, making lots and lots of ruckus. Ants are now going to start moving up, forcing the half-bloods to contend with not just a trio of heroes, with a pair of the heroes geared for targeting multiple enemies at the same time, because God love your guys' wait, do you have multi-deck? I know. Yeah, you do have your telekinesis multi-attack.
yeah, but myself, I don't have that yet.
Not yet. So you're a single target bruiser. But both of their main attacks for going after people are do have multi-attack, so they can start doing their best to will down multiple people at the same time. Just when it comes to attack, the focus beam attacks have a chance of alerting the ants, and there's a high good chance that the moment gunfire starts to go off, the ants will definitely most likely start picking up on the acoustics of guns going off in a hotel. So if you do end up in a fight, there's a good chance ants are going to start moving up.
Yeah.
Which,
go
ahead.
I was going to say something, but go ahead and finish what you're saying. This may answer my question.
The main perk of alerting the ants is turning the vampires defense, which is pretty much stopping anyone coming from below, into a op or an opposition, because now the half-bloods have to do the best to maintain the barriers to stop the ants, because if they leave the barriers, the ants start to dismantle the barriers, and then the ants start getting in, and it's forcing a fight. So there's going to be a very good chance that you guys don't even have to actually overly stress fighting a bundle of the half-bloods, because they're going to be too occupied trying to stop the ants from getting up.
Okay. Yeah. And we don't have time to get pheromones for the ants. You know, spray the pheromones on the half bloods and shove them through the doors so the ants will be horny. What do you think? I mean, that's one of the better way of thinking about it, is that using the ants as our diversion to go down. We just don't want to get caught by both groups at the same time. That's the only thing I worry about.
Or definitely not. But
or even if
then,
we have vampires, then we're caught between a three-way squeeze.
Yeah. Even then, my only question is, even if we do get all 60 of them down, how are we managing those vampires? It's daytime for now.
Right. And it's going to take a lot of milk.
We need a standby retrieval.
Okay, Allstrike, can you roll me a d20 with a +5? Because you actually have a chance of beating a certain intellect-based check.
15.
Ants are highly pheromone-based creatures. You are correct. Not necessarily in the mating sense, but there is a pheromone-based trigger that ants release when they die.
That's right, they do, don't they?
Yeah. Do you remember what that pheromone does?
Mine's kind of drawing a blank right this second, but isn't the pheromone also used in the ants being able to recognize other ants of their own colony?
Yeah.
There is a certain pheromone they do use to help recognize one another, and if you don't have the right pheromones, it's not just a single pheromone. Other pheromones can interfere with it and override it. Ants will go after you. But the main pheromone that gets released when ants die is a "Hey, I'm dead" pheromone.
Okay.
Ants like to bury their dead.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if they're highly colonized.
They do have graveyard chambers.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we ask Daredevil to see if he can find any of those down below? Or wait a minute, we're still on the roof, correct?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to fly over to the park and see if I can use radar to see if I can spot any burial chambers by using like ground radar type deal.
It's normal radar, not ground penetrating radar. You would have to start getting close to the entrance and let it bounce off, and then hope you find the right chamber before you have to actually enter in the hive. But that does require you to say pretty much right over the opening, not necessarily like here's the opening, here's you, but like you have to be like flying overhead to get it directly to bounce in there to do it, to make sure it bounces correctly.
Okay. Well, can I narrow down the radar?
To try to angle it in more direction you want, technically yes,
Yeah.
but you still need
Okay.
to make sure it actually goes in. You still need to get practically right above the entrance.
Right.
Uh,
How far is the as I'm looking towards the park? How far is that armored ant that flies doing? Where is it
uh,
located?
you are
Is it out?
you're pretty sure it's well over a mile away.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about it right away coming at me. Well, he could probably fly a mile within a very few seconds, but
Yeah, you're pretty
uh,
sure if it comes back, it's gonna come back relatively quickly, and it's gonna come back like a Mack truck. Mack truck.
yeah.
Uh, but I said you're like, okay, it's definitely over a mile away, doing something. Uh,
Okay.
but as you fly over and you're bouncing the radar you're able to, okay, that's definitely a big nest because, well, the entrance can fit. It can easily fit a 60-foot long ant going in and out of it, so it's a relatively big hole.
Right.
As it's like bouncing in, you're like, okay, your computer system is like reading you lots of information, um, and you're able to gets a pretty big hive. There's lots of different chambers and stuff, uh, and there's a lot of ants. And after a moment, your radar system can detect that there is ants starting to move towards the opening of the anthill at a very high speed.
Okay. Well, I get out of there.
Well,
And since I get up away from them
well, as you're
and
like
try to see if there's.
flying away,
Go ahead.
way you can detect that a bunch of ants do pretty much come popping out of the opening. And after a moment, several small, sleek flying ones come flying out at a high speed. And these ones, despite being ants, do highly resemble wasps. And they fly up,
Okay.
and there's about 7 of them. They circle for a moment and then start beelining straight for you.
Okay.
And your system's able to actually register possibly why the you accidentally triggered a defensive response. Some of the
Okay.
ants are utilizing echolocation.
All right. Okay. Try to remember. I only got one type of attack and one type of defense. Right. A second. Um, I'm going to try to take out the. I know they're going to come at me, and they're probably going. Well, I could probably fly away from them at top speed, but that means I leave them on guard on top of the roof.
I mean, yeah,
I
you would end up leaving the party all alone without your special party guests.
yeah. Um, I contact back to Ren and to Smooth that
Shiro.
that Zero. I'm sorry. I'm
Shiro.
thinking. I don't know why I think. I am sorry. I was sitting there pitching the little character from Little Abner. Um, uh, I communicate back to you guys that I did see some very highly activity. I got 7 of these wasp things, well, wasp style things coming at me. I could fly towards you guys, and that way we can try to pick them off, and then use their dead corpses with if we score high enough to kill them. Or, in say the first 2 rounds,
Uh,
um, then we can use their corpses.
I can say this because your character's smart enough. You know how I said those windows are highly bulletproof?
All right.
Do you know what they're not
Oh,
proof?
you use
Are
Stinger.
they not mandible proof?
They're not all strike proof.
Oh, geez. Okay.
You are the bullet.
Huh?
You are the bullet.
Yes. I didn't even think about that. That's how well awake
They're
I am.
bulletproof. They're not tank proof.
They're not tank
Yeah,
proof.
you're right.
So you just triggered a highly defensive response from the colony ants. It's right there by the hotel, and you do move fast enough to technically make those windows not a problem, which means you can pick a floor and just fly straight into it. You have enough survivability for the windows not to be a problem.
And lead the ants into
Into
the hotel to fight our battle for us.
All right. And what I want to do is I want to. Oh, yeah.
You're the door knocker.
What? Yeah, what I was going to say is I can go into the floor right above right below where the ants are, and then come back and do a U-turn and come back through the next floor above where um, the blockades are, and that way the ants will have a path to go into
So do
the
you just
area that
start
we want.
flying through windows?
Yeah, basically
So you tell your
trying to
roof
trying to get, but I want to try to get them
to go to where you want.
I want to try to funnel them. Go ahead.
So pretty much you
I
want
said
the
what?
not just the flying ants, but the ranged ants to be able to get where you want to by breaking the windows, giving them the perfect opportunity to actually go and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Please juggernaut this.
Yeah.
Yes, I am good.
He does have an imperviousness of 11, which means if it does under 4 points, 4 points or lower on damage, he just does not care about it. Which means he can easily bust through the windows, not taking any damage. Bust through some of the walls, even though they are sturdy walls. He has higher strength, and just start pretty much start flying to actually get the momentum, and then start running through, busting doors and stuff down with chasing him, having no problems because again they are sleek built aerial ants. Right on his tail. So you're able to pretty much bust through, which starts getting the attention of the ants in some of the ants in actually building, with a bunch of flying ones chasing after you.
Right.
Pop through, stand up, and as you're about ready to start going through the other windows, you almost, even though you're wearing armor, you can almost feel the sharp mandibles that cause sparks as it hits part of your foot. As you then start going through other windows. That's how make sure if you're being slowed down through going through stuff, and they're also quite quick and agile. You're able to start running through, and you see a couple of the half bloods pretty much they start shooting at you, which because you have let me double check their damage on their guns, because I think it's just their assault rifles are just enough to actually make you sweat a little bit. Because if it does 5 or more damage, it bypasses your imperviousness. But you're just pretty much screaming by them. uh, with several aerial ants following you. Do you pause at all to see what the ants do to the half bloods?
Not until I clear the building. Then if I can see back through that way.
Well, you can bust out the
'Cause-
other building.
'cause-
Well, no, the other side. None of the area ants are following you, and as you use your fishing to look in, you can see several half bloods like shooting at them. As the ants pretty much are doing what? Grab with their mouth, do this weird folding motion, and just immediately start stinging with their tails. And you can hear the screaming of the half bloods as you are pretty sure highly effective acid is being pumped into them.
Oh,
Because a lot
okay.
of ant species don't use fake poisons; they use legit acid. You're pretty
Yeah.
sure you figured out what
Yeah.
type of ants. That it's like, huh? The base species must be one of these army ants here that is injecting actual acid into them.
Yeah.
After a moment, you can see slightly more man-sized ants crawling out some one of the holes that's not too far from you. Several of them then immediately crawl in. One does stop, looks at you, stares for a minute, and then scurries in. And as you can watch, these ones pretty much coming from a flanking motion, shooting in the backs of some of the guys that were trying to shoot the other direction. And you can see that the stingers that they're shooting are coated in what looks like some form of acid.
Okay.
So it's
I
like
relay that information
boom.
to
Uh,
them, to my counterparts.
And because you have radar, I am giving this to you. Can you roll me a dodge with a +8? You do have full bonus because even though you were partly concentrated,
How about a 27?
I like that. This thing doesn't have a super high to hit. Okay,
Ooh.
as you're able to dodge just enough, as it pretty much doesn't actually stop because it uses the building to stop. That massive flying ant just smashes into part of the building, shakes the entire building as you almost got bit by it. As like you can
Oh,
see its head
geez.
just turn, and even though it's an unblinking, solid color eye, you kind of feel like it's staring into your soul, like you're looking into the abyss.
This. Okay.
It's like it's the abyss and something staring back.
I don't like that feeling. I had that plenty of feeling when I was in the elementary school
Yes,
from
you have
my
the
from
distinct
my history
feeling
teacher.
that you're going to be having to play tag with this ant because it wants you, and thank God you
Okay.
have a high fly speed.
Yep. I'm gonna now can I still have the high speed and still fire, or do I have to slow down to fire?
If you're trying to do full speed to keep distance, I do have to hit you with a few penalties. Uh, if you're going to not try to go full speed and shoot at it, I can ignore the penalties, but there's going to be a high chance it can easily break that distance and bite you.
Okay. I think I'm still going to stay with the high speed, but try to figure out a way of running him into something that may be a little bit more.
Pretty much try to do zigzag
Um,
stuff through the city streets
to the,
using the buildings to help
yeah,
keep it slowed down.
yeah, see those, yeah, exactly. And then try to come up behind it, and as it passes me, I'm going to, like they show, like fighters do, they haul ass, and then one will they'll peel off, and while the other one's still going half back, they kind of slow down and then come around to the backside.
Pretty much
Do you
try
know
to
what I'm talking about?
uh, You're gonna try to use your smaller frame and slightly better maneuverability to try to get a flank on it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're off doing that. As the rest of the party felt the building shake, can see the extremely large, well-armored ant taking off after him. You guys can definitely hear lots of gun fire and lots of screaming, implying that you guys can start making your way into the building.
Okay.
Almighty Ren, can you
All
roll a
right.
d20 with a plus 15, please?
Okay, D20.
Just Ren.
My D20 with plus 15, you said?
Just Ren.
Oh, Ren. I thought you said
Just
me.
Ren.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm
This is her mind
never mind.
reading. That way she can read the minds of the people to try to figure out where their intrepid leader is. So if she passes this check, she gets high enough, she'll be able to go straight to Count Dracula. With the only downside being that until you figure out what you can actually do with that giant ant. For a short period of time, Ren and Shuro are going to be fighting most likely fighting Count Dracula by themselves, while you take care of something that you really don't want it to catch you.
Yeah. If that's okay with you guys, because I really don't have a choice right now.
I was about to say, I don't think you really have a.
Yeah.
Oh, you are able to actually pinpoint what room he is in, and you and Shuro can start creeping in there. Because there's lots of chaos, thanks to a certain someone, and because of the armored flying ant that collided into the building. More windows to several slightly higher floors than what you intended are broken, which means there's more room for other ants to get in. And yes, there is ants getting into the building now.
Fun.
Which means you guys have successfully, by coincidence, took care of your whole
Okay.
how are we going to get to him and go through all these guys at the same time. Oh, we're going to accidentally trigger a defensive response against highly territorial, highly protective hive-based insect.
Look, It was actually my hope that we would figure out a way to use the ants to our advantage, and then it happened, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let this happen.
Happy little accident. We're going to Bob Ross this.
So off we go.
Yeah, due to the
guess.
combat taking part in the lower floors and your detect thoughts, you're able to avoid any of the would-be combatants. Because they're all kind of focused on dealing with the massive ant problem. You're able to get into one of the interior penthouse rooms. And it looks like a very fancy room. Then after a moment, you can both feel the presence of an ominous presence. And then Count Dracula will reveal himself, because it looks like he was starting to get ready to do something in response to someone waking him up during the day, which means we can go into initiative checks.
Oh man, I feel like this is moving too fast.
It might be moving too fast, but it's either too fast or too slow.
Yep.
I am happy that Shuro has a +9 to his initiative. Ren has a 1. And here's to me rolling low.
And it's off. Man and Cheryl.
Well, I got higher than Ren, but lower than Shuro, which means Shuro, you do have the initiative. You can do a full multi attack with your revolver, and you can do there's your bonuses. You can do the power attack, so you increase your DC by 5. And you can roll with a plus 15 to hit him. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Can we get visuals on the room that we're in?
I actually might have something I can use. I just thought about this. Those watching, you have to give me one moment.
I was going to say, Jacob, it's the red room.
Or
Amen.
or
What did I
Captain
say?
Seward?
Oh, Captain Stewart. I'm sorry, I forgot. I called him main man earlier and then turned right around and screwed up. I guess I'm going to have to be. Never mind, I'm not going to say anything. I'll say it later.
No, I just have to take care of something real quick, and I can, do that. As I click all the wrong buttons. I did not. Okay, just I can go to notes. I can go here. No, that's not what I wanted. Upload a file. Uh, if you go to notes, you'll actually see, and this is a skyscraper penthouse. Just imagine it being a little bit, like less windowy. Moving in, you guys, room number 12, which is the master bedroom. You can, wait, is that... I am frozen on that screen.
Well, if it's not, okay, see if that helps.
No, I just switched and I was able to refresh it.
Okay, because I had clicked on it to look at it a little closely.
No, but it's room number 12. You guys are able to bust in those double doors. So it's a nice sized room. And more to your left is where he is, because he's pretty much on the other side of the room, almost like he was coming out of the bathroom. So there'll be easily 5, 10, 15, like 15 or so feet between you and him. So there's not necessarily a bunch of combat space. Uh, oh, it's actually coming in pretty nicely over the stream, the picture of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Probably so.
Uh, but Almighty Shoot 'em Up gets to fire first. You do have a plus 15. So here's to you rolling outrageously high. And
Please.
yes, Shuro, I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Remember, you have a plus 15.
Double important. Really important. Yep.
Oh! You hit. But because I got a 1, his 17 gets turned into a 12, which means there's a 17-point difference between what you got and what he got, which means 5 is being added to the die roll because of multi-shot. Now, because he rolled a 1, I also, do not, oh, I didn't not want that to, boom. I need to do this now. He's taking a minus 5 to his modifier because I rolled a 1. I swear to God, if you one-shot him in one turn, I'm gonna be upset. Oh!
So how many degrees of failure is that?
Desi's power attacking, it's normally a DC 25, but because he got so good on there's a multi-attack and the difference 5's being added to it, which makes it a DC 30. 30 minus 7 is 23, which each degree of failure is by 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20. It's over the 20 mark. So that's 5 degrees of failure.
Ooh. So he put that. So he put Dracula to sleep.
So for cinematic purposes, you guys like bust in, you see him, and Shuro just pulls out his gun, unloads it into Dracula, and because of how well placed those shots are, Dracula hits the ground dead. This 4 degrees is incapacitation, 5 degrees is death.
I'm just gonna look at Shuro and like put my hand up. High five.
High five.
Is there anything particular besides getting the hell out of there you guys are gonna do? Because you're pretty sure him unloading his revolver is going to get the attention of anyone in his proximity at the same time as the mental link he had with everyone just went dark, which would trigger everyone to, well, if the vampires weren't up before, they're up now.
Well, honestly, we should probably close the door and use the escape elevator.
So you guys are using the escape elevator?
Are we using the escape elevator?
Yeah.
So you both just hop in the escape elevator?
Well, I feel like we should probably do something about Dracula, ensuring that he's dead or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We should probably bring him with and bring him into the sun.
Well, do you bring him in?
Yeah,
and
why
if
not?
So, are you going to the emergency roof entrance for the escape elevator, or are you trying to go to the basement? I mean, the bottom floor.
What was the first option?
Go to the roof.
Oh yeah, we're going to the roof. We're also already in the penthouse, so that should be significantly closer.
Yep, because you can. You guys can get to the roof, get out in the sunlight. I'm going to read something, and you guys can tell me just how hilarious this is. Uh, yeah. Weakness, vulnerable to sunlight. Uh, yeah,
Did
you
you
guys
say
just
moral
vulnerable,
MOR? Oh,
vulnerable,
vulnerable.
as in he's
Okay.
weak to it. Uh,
Okay. I thought you said morale.
uh,
MORAL.
I was gonna make you guys fight for this. But there's a gun on his hip. It looks like a revolver.
Take the gun, Shiro.
Shiro, do you grab the revolver?
Yes. I do.
What are you?
Everybody still there?
Here.
Yes.
Stupid, and you'll
Uh,
be like,
I
"Let me
take
just
the revolver.
stay asleep."
Captain.
Yeah, you can take the revolver. I'm gonna have to make side notes because it's being. It's being weird on letting me update or not. I do have it on a side note. Do you inform
Yeah.
the mighty All Strike that Operation Sunbath has been way too successful?
Yes. I can do it telepathically.
Do you two just
You've
head
done
back?
what?
Operation Sunbath.
Yeah,
Operation
I got that.
Dracula's in the Sun. So do you and Shiro then just go flying off back home? Permitting
Well,
the what?
didn't you say there were there being used as blood bags?
There was people being used as a food source for the vampires, but there's a slight catch if you want to try to rescue them. I'll give you a hint. Their name starts when the name has 3 letters in it. And they're currently starting to fill the building.
Oh, yeah. No, I think we're good. I think we can go.
The whole sacrifice the few for the many. Lesser of two evils.
Well, they probably almost strained anyway.
Or at least not in a very healthy state. At that
I mean,
point,
not just that,
All
but
Strike.
we probably wouldn't be able to rescue anybody. We would end up probably just getting killed. So,
Yeah, because the ants aren't stopping. And you
Yeah.
technically, the psychic feedback from Dracula's death would have ringed through the vampires and the half-bloods, causing them mental
Yeah.
distress, which would have made it, which makes it easier for the ants to combat them. So you guys,
yeah. Oh,
with lucky die rolls,
Yeah.
and I will point out, when it comes to DC games, this is the second time a big bad guy who's supposed to be a tough fight gets one shot in round 1.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's high
true.
fives all around.
Because that's a okay. I
That,
rolled a 1 versus your attack. That's a -5 to this. So you this I get a plus. I roll. um. Well, the rest of this season is going to be interesting. Uh, Mainly because any of the half bloods or vampires that manage to escape are going to be the only real problem, but they're not going to be a problem because the heroes just very easily uh, defeated the Count. And this is on video record. It's on Twitch of you guys just getting a one shot in. So no one can, unless this gets deleted from the internet, no one can take away from you guys that you guys defeated Count Dracula.
now, when now with some of the different vampire lore, I'm asking this with the hand raised. Doesn't it mean if you're the sire of a vampire, that vampire dies or is turned
No.
back human? It depends on. Okay,
It depends
I'm
on
just
the
asking.
base lore. Um, your character can go off of what you know of media, which is mostly lies from media. There's like movies, TV shows, and stuff are not only highly conflicting with one another, but not very
Now,
consistent.
does that mean that Count Dracula had was a sparkly vampire?
Uh,
I really want to go see if how Lynx is doing.
well,
Okay.
does
Oh
now that you
yeah,
don't have to
you got to
be,
remember, I'm still being chased.
yeah, you
Well,
are
since you
being
took care of
chased.
Dracula, you got chased all over the place.
You're pretty much told that even though you can't fly underwater, but just go to the bay and as fast as you can just clobber into the water and just try to swim down. Just there's a good chance the ant will not follow you in the water.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask that. I just I know that I have the life or I have the what do you call it
Uh, you're not gonna
ability
have
to breathe
any.
underwater and
Yeah.
or
In
is
the
it called
long
life
run, you're
support?
not
Yeah,
gonna
life
have any
support.
problems in the water because your suit will protect you.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Oh, we just killed Dracula.
Huh?
I said we just killed Dracula. I'm being chased by a bunch of flying ants.
Oh Lord.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Huh? No, in the game, in my game.
Oh.
Uh, that's for episode. That's per that. Yeah, you. I was gonna reserve this for later, but yeah, you guys just got a defeating Dracula bonus.
Yay!
Cool.
But after a while, you're able to get away from the ants, and you guys are able to get back into the base. Because Lynx was only a half blood, which means which is pretty much a type of thrall. After a long rehab session, she'll revert back to normal. So she does not have the blood of Count Dracula to sustain her abilities. So she'll revert back to normal.
Okay.
And you guys can
Well,
start doing research on the new gun that has mystic symbols on it. And it's an early 19th century 6-shooter.
Nice.
So
Ooh.
you can just look at it and tell
Yeah.
that it's well over 100 years old.
Is it one of the earlier? Is it Civil War?
Well, already
Age?
said that is 19th century 6-shooter made of black iron engraved with
Oh shit.
mystic
Okay.
symbols. Shuro, do you examine the ammunition for it?
Yes.
You don't like the ammunition because it's silvered bullets.
Cool. I'll save it for a sunny day.
Well, as I walk in, I'm shaking off my battle suit as I get inside the base, and I'm seeing you guys over looking at the pistol, and that I said, "Oh, going werewolf hunting now?"
Is there any way that we can research the symbols?
You guys technically can. It's going to be a raw intellect check because you don't have the expertise for it. I'm double checking your expertise now. No, you don't have. Yeah, you guys don't have the needed expertise to make it super easy. But you guys definitely have a reason to go into expertise the occult. Ren, you have
I do have his.
Expertise.
I have his.
Shuro has a +0, and brain's not working. Allstrike has a +5, so if each of you want to make your own rolls to see what you can bring up, you can. But like I said, Shuro has 0, Ren has a +2, and Allstrike has a +5 because he's a smarty pants.
Okay. All right. Let's see what happened. Why I just got kicked out, not out of the software, but off the screen. Oh, that's why. Okay. So I need to just roll with the 0.
No, you have a 5.
No, you're 5.
Oh, I have
Never
+5.
mind,
Okay,
you got a
let me do
1.
that.
So you managed to turn off the computer completely. So you're like, huh,
Oh, okay.
I wonder what this is. As you're like, oh, I turned everything off and closed all the browsers and stuff, guys. The 11 that you got, Almighty Ren, results in all you can really tell is the that again does the 19th century is technically 1800s, so it's a very old gun.
So can we get Captain Seward to weigh in on this?
Give me one moment for Captain Sewer.
Is isn't Constantine still in this universe, or is he not?
No, I don't think so.
No, Constantine is DC.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
And also, Dr. Fate, wouldn't he be another resource?
Technically, yes.
Probably more.
Catch-22 is the group. You guys do not have a complete list or anything of who did and did not survive season 1 when Hive did its tomfoolery. There's a lot of
Okay.
heroes suffered from it. And when it comes to the Mystics department, you guys haven't heard back on if someone's coming, and if they are, who is it, other than you guys are waiting back for input. With his total of a 16, Captain Sewer can state that in the world of weird mysticism, despite the fact he does stuff with, he has a pair of elementals that do stuff with him, he's not an expert on the occult because, well, he focused on architecture mainly. Science man, even though he has proof that that not everything can be explained by science because, well, he has a pair of elementals with him. Is the stuff that's coming up is not that many types of different types of weapons were made with black iron. Black iron also goes by cold iron. Brain stop working for a moment. The fact that this that was made into a gun probably signifies that this at one point belonged to someone who hunted supernatural creatures, because cold iron cannot be wielded by particular entities such as the Fae or demonic entities. The fact that it uses silver bullets possibly implies that a werewolf hunter had a very bad time with Dracula. The exact meaning of the symbols he can't tell you, and so the mystery of the gun is still currently a mystery. So until he can hear back on if a master of the mystic arts is going to be able to pop in or not, he hasn't been verified yet. So when and if that person shows up, they'll most likely be able to better answer that question on what type of shenanigans this gun is capable of getting into, other than the fact that it must be important because Count Dracula was going to use it on you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is this a 6 foot? Yeah, 6 foot. Is this a six?
It is a
6 shooter type.
Yeah.
Okay. Long barrel or short?
Long barrel.
Is it like a? Okay, so it could be a Navy Colt. I mean a Navy Colt.
Yeah.
Navy revolver.
Well, the description
Okay.
didn't go into super details other than it's 19th century 6-shooter, which means it was a revolver from the 1800s. That's all I can really say. The exact make and model, no. The barrel on it is long, so it's not like a tiny revolver. It's a sizable revolver. So the actual make, I can't particularly say. But that can be resolved for later game session. I
was going to say I was sitting there thinking of all the different type of revolvers in the late 1800s.
There was somewhere between more than one and somewhere between like one and however many models there are, which is a decent array. And it is a American 6-shooter.
Okay, that limits the number of.
Yeah. But on that
note, means it's well made.
Yeah, it's well made. On that note, we are at a very, very good stopping point for this episode. With you guys getting to celebrate that you one-shot Count Dracula.
Yes.
This was a good comeback then.
It was a perfect comeback because, like, this is going to be a tough fight. We might have to pull shenanigans to get all striking. Bam! Never mind. So you guys, wow, you guys defeated the important bad guy early in the season. Unlike last season, that it took pretty much the ending. Like it was like in the end that the party was able to actually defeat that guy. Lucky die rolls. Uh, but like I said, we will be calling this the episode to an end. So thank you for any and all viewers for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you hopefully next week for more Nightmares of Future Past.